Authors Over 50, Writing in Life's Sweetest Third. Authors Over 50's weekly podcast celebrates writers and their journeys to publication. Writing after 50 is a whole story on its own, so let's skip to life's sweetest third and talk with authors about their journey from pen to publish. Welcome, I'm Julia Daly, your host, and I invite you to listen to interviews with writers who've achieved their goal of publishing a book just later in life. We've seen award lists for under 30 or under 40, but I've yet to see lists for those who've achieved a significant milestone of their own, launching a new career and publishing their first book after the age of 50. We will hear about these authors' inspirations, struggles, strategies, and the smell of that first book. These writers' journeys inspire me because I'm one of them. My guest today has a bachelor's degree in English and is a language teacher for the Kanza Tribe. Her debut novel, Asylum, won the 2020 WriterCon contest in the novel category. She loves creating a home on paper for the characters in her head and dabbling in poetry. She lives in a small Oklahoma town with her husband, 4 grown children nearby, and 2 spoiled dog children. Welcome to Authors Over 50, Susy Smith.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Susy, our opening question on Authors Over 50 as always. So what took you so long to write your first book?
Well, I've always wanted to write. I remember as a teen trying to write. But life kind of gets in the way. You get married, and I had 4 kids, and between raising them and working, there wasn't much time for me to sit down and think about writing. We were also involved in church quite a bit, and that took up a lot of time. So my kids are grown. My youngest is 21, and so I decided, let's go.
Well, I attended a writer's retreat with you, Susy, and I remember listening to you read a few pages from your work in progress, and I knew it would be a great novel because the story and the characters were so intriguing.
Thank you.
Once you wrote the book, how did you proceed? Did you search for an agent, decide to choose a hybrid, a small press, or did you self-publish?
I did not self-publish. I really didn't think that at the time, I didn't think I could do it. I'm kind of on the fence about it. The first thing I thought of was Bill, actually. That writer's retreat that we met at was a result of, because it was right after the COVID lockdown. And so during the lockdown, I had a chance to edit, and I just really went over the novel thoroughly. And then I thought, I don't know what to do with this. Don't know what to do. So I contacted Bill, and he kind of guided me through everything, which is really nice. Bill Bernhardt.
Yes, Bill Bernhardt operates a writer's retreat in Arkansas. He has the Red Sneaker Writers Group online, and he also is the promoter of WriterCon, which is a conference in Oklahoma City, Labor Day weekend. What was your inspiration for this book, Susy?
Well, the book is set on 40 acres in Osage County. And my grandma and grandpa had 40 acres with ponds and everything like that. So that physical setting really kind of helped shape the story. Because I practically lived there in the summer. I was there all the time. There were cattle. It was just fun. And so I thought, well, write about what you know. So that was real familiar to me, and I thought it was a good setting.
You know, that's always I hear over and over for so many of us going to our grandparents' houses and, being somewhere for our summer just really influenced so much of our life.
Yep, it really did for me. Um, my childhood, I mean, even as a teen, I was out there just, running around with my cousin, you know,
Yeah.
having fun.
I remember those summers in my childhood too.
Hmm.
It's real sentimental to look back on those times.
Yeah, it really is.
What about the plot of your book? How did you determine how you were going to write the plot?
Well, that's, I have a really cliche answer. um, I had a dream. I had a dream, and there was this girl, and she was hiding, and she was scared, and then, like all dreams, you wake up and not really know. You go, what in the world was that about? Why was she scared? But it kind of stuck with me, and so it just over and over it went in my mind, and so I just kind of created the plot from there. So I know that's weird, but
No, a lot of people say they dream, and I get a lot of ideas when I dream, and I have to try to write them down as soon as I get up, or, they vanish.
they do. Sometimes they do before you wake up.
Yes. What about your writing routine? Are you an everyday writer? Are you a morning person or a night person?
I have disciplined myself. I get up every morning an hour early. I started doing this because I'm writing the sequel and I wasn't really getting anywhere. I needed to be further along, and I thought I'm not going to get anywhere unless I make myself get there. And so I'm waking up every morning an hour early and I write for 1 hour before I go to work every morning. Slow progress, but it's progress. And so, yeah, I'm almost finished now with the novel. I got about 5 more chapters to go.
That's great. And that's very disciplined to work every single day.
Yeah. Sometimes on the weekend something gets in the way, but I really try even on Saturday and Sunday to do that.
Did real people inspire any of your characters?
um, there's one. There's one that that a character is based off of, but I really hesitate to say anything else about it.
Well, sometimes they remain unnamed, but
Mm-hmm,
or
for sure.
sometimes they're a combination of several people that we know.
Well, I I do have an uncle that lives in Gainesville, Texas, and so that's, I mean, he's not evil uh, like in this, how I portray him, but
What about the editing process that you chose?
the editing, um, that's a big deal for me. And what I do is I'll write a chapter and I'll send it to my best friend. She'll read it, and boy, she's the reason why I'm as far as I am, because she gives me feedback, and she'll redline that thing. If you've ever been in college, if you ever remember high school, having a paper going through it and there's red marked everywhere, that's kind of what she does to me. But so I'll put it aside and then write the next chapter and send it to her. And we have this process. And then when I'm done, I'll go back to her edits and I will edit my book with her edits. Um, and then I line by line edit and make sure every word is where it's supposed to be.
Well, that's so great to have a friend who is so honest with you. Most of our family and friends read our work and say, "Oh, it's wonderful." And they don't,
I know.
they don't give you the real truth about what you need to change or what they didn't understand.
Right. Well, I mean, the criticism that she gives is not, I know it's not aimed at me, and it's constructive. And you kind of got to grow a thick skin. And we've argued. We've argued over stuff. like, yeah, but, and she'll just shake her head, and I'll eventually come around to her point of view most of the time. I do.
It's great to have a first reader and an editor rolled into one.
Yeah, she's great.
What about publicity? We writers like to write. We don't like to promote ourselves. Have you found anything that worked or maybe that didn't work for you?
Well, I haven't really found anything outstanding that works. Um, I'm not good at the whole promotion thing, and um, I wish I had somebody who just did that for me, and all I had to do was write. But that's a perfect world. We don't live in a perfect world, so. Um, but no, I haven't really found anything that actually works. I will say Book Talk has its merits. Um, Book Talk, if you can hack uh, doing the everyday, video, and I did it for a little while, and just I'm so burnt out on it now. You know, but if you're younger, if you know somebody younger that's writing, Book Talk's a great place to be.
Well, I hear that we're all going to end up there sooner or later, but all I see are people dancing around or,
I know.
the young videos. And I think at my age, I just can't do that.
Yeah, no, I can't either. But I mean, I saw some women over 50, and a couple of men, as well, on there trying to carve a place out. It's hard to get noticed because there's so many, because of the sheer volume that goes through TikTok. It's all based on algorithms, and you got to have the right hashtag, and so.
Yeah, social media is a whole different animal for those of us who really never had a platform before and trying to build one from
Right.
scratch. It's
Yeah.
very difficult because, I'm told that more than 1 million titles are printed in the US every year. And that's a
Wow.
huge volume to try to make yourself, be able to be
That's
seen.
staggering, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Susie, tell us a little bit more about Asylum and then read from a passage that you brought to share today.
I'm going to read my elevator pitch. Um, and it is amidst a U.S. economic disaster, 19-year-old Lacey Monroe finds herself in charge of a band of asylum seekers and becomes a pawn in her uncle's dangerous plot to take over the country. Jace Cooper, her brother's best friend, shows up at the farm with a secret. He's in love with Lacey and will stop at nothing to keep her safe. This is her, and she's thinking about Jace. So that's the premise. Why did he have that effect on her? And why, oh, why did she provoke him that way? She urged Acer into a gallop, but the speed didn't relieve her anxiety. The wind whipped her face, scorched her cheeks, but not even the burn distracted her. Sweet baby Jesus in a bar, the man pushed her buttons. He left her conflicted and angry. She didn't trust him, yet her heart dropped to her stomach any time she saw him. She chalked part of it up to fear. Men made her skin crawl, but she couldn't deny her physical attraction to him. She wasn't dead. Man, oh man, the boy was ripped. Right now, stabbing her eyes out with an ice pick seemed the only cure to erase the memory of the wolf dragon tattoo on his back. She shook her head as she imagined many sleepless nights over that tattoo.
You are so descriptive and you have us right there with you the whole time. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You talked about having the sequel to this. How long did it take you to write your first book, and did that change on your second book?
It really did, because I actually had the idea for Asylum in 2012. So I had carried that idea and actually wrote a really, really ugly first draft back in 2012. but that process took like what 7-8 years to for me to finally finish. I started the sequel in February maybe, and I'm almost finished. And then I'll have to edit. So I've cut it down by like 77 years or something. So yeah, it's a lot shorter. Just having that first novel under your belt really helps. It really does.
I agree. And I think we learn so much of the craft and the logistics when you write that first novel that the second one really does go a lot faster. In fact, mine went so fast because I took the NaNoWriMo challenge last November, where you
Yep.
have to challenge yourself to write 50,000 words in the month of November. That was a real
crazy.
challenge,
That it was.
1,667 words a day. But at least I got something, like you said, ugly down on paper, and then I could go back and edit it.
Right. Yeah, you can go back and tear it apart and look at what doesn't work. And so, yeah, I mean, boy, those ugly first drafts have their merit.
They really do. And I am kind of a hybrid between a pantser and a plotter, so I always know the beginning and the end, and I have to work on that mushy middle. But I think
The
just
muddy middle, I call it the muddy
muddy.
middle.
Yeah, they're mushy, muddy, and terrible. But at least, when I was trying to get all those words on paper, I didn't go back and edit every day. I didn't worry about punctuation. I didn't do anything like that. I just got those words down on paper. So that really helps it to get out of you and have something to work with.
Yeah, it really does. I'm the same way. I loosely plot when I start. I know where I want to go. I know the finish line. I know, but the journey in between the beginning and the end, that's where I'm a pantser. So, but I have a problem. I automatically edit when I write, and I know some people do, some people don't. That just I don't know if that's like a quirk that that I just can't let it go.
It comes from our being English majors, is what it comes from.
I think so. I think so.
And my mother was an English major, so she was always correcting my grammar. So I was always conscious of that.
Yeah.
Do you ever Google yourself or read reviews? If so, how do you deal with the bad ones or the good ones?
Well, I don't Google myself. Now, my friend in West Virginia will from time to time, she'll go and then she'll send me like a screenshot or something. But I don't actively do it. Now, I have read a bad review and I thought about it, and I really tried to take the good criticism out of it that I could and leave the bad, because this one was really she was mean. She didn't have to, say the stuff that she did. But there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, it's out there. So people are going to think what they think, and, they can go try and write a novel, It's not as easy.
That's what I always think. I always think the people who are being so critical, because I will never give below a 4 stars. If I can't give a 4 stars to something, I don't give it any rating, because
exactly.
I know exactly what went into that person's work. And every novel, every book is not for everyone, and we all have our different preferences. So for somebody to be just cruel or mean, I think those are trolls who are, just going through the internet and trying to hurt people's feelings. Because if you have mostly 4 and 5 star reviews, and then you get a 1 star review, that's the only one you dwell on. You forget about the 5 star reviews, and you only think about that 1 star review.
I know. I got it. I got my attitude, and under control. And I never thought about retaliating. My friend goes, "Well, are you going to say anything?" I'm like, "No, no, no," because I'm not going to engage
No.
in that, especially if that's what she was wanting.
Yeah. No, we're told to just let it go. Don't even respond.
Yeah. Yep. It's the best. I think that's the best way. And just kind of forget it. I mean,
Yeah.
take what you can out of it and then leave the rest.
Yeah. I agree. Do you have to do any research before you begin writing or as you go along? Or do you just know these areas so well and don't have to do much research?
No, I Google's my best friend. If I don't know something, and I don't like if I don't know something, I'll stop and I'll think, can a helicopter fly at night? I mean, I never thought of it, but my character in the sequel, he's flying off and it's pitch black, and all of a sudden that comes to me, I'm like, wait a minute, can a helicopter, and they can, but if I hadn't Googled it and it had been wrong, that would not have been good. So,
Yes, that's true. I think now that we have the internet, research is so much easier than going to a library and pulling down books,
yeah, or making that terrible cold call. I can't, I'm very, very introverted, and so I can't make those. I mean, because probably in the past somebody would get on the phone and call somebody who they thought would know the answer to that question. That's horrifying to me.
Do you have a title for your sequel?
Well, no, I don't. Unlike my debut novel, Asylum, I had that name, and I knew why, and I knew, you know, um, this one, the working title is Leverage, but it's not gonna stay that. I don't think, with books being as competitive as they are, the cover and the title have to grab people, or they're just going to pass it by. So I'm trying to keep that in mind.
Did you have a graphic artist to do your cover, and will you use the same one to do the sequel?
Um, Bill Bernhardt had the cover done, and I don't know I don't know the name of the person that he used. Um, that cover had to grow on me, to be honest with you. When I first saw it, I didn't like it. But the reaction that people have has been positive. So, and it's kind of grown on me, and I like it. I like it now. Um, I just, I don't know what he'll do. If he chooses to uh, publish it again, I don't have a clue. And I'm kind of glad. I don't, there again, I don't know if I could self-publish all those details. So,
Does writing energize or exhaust you?
it satisfies me. I don't think exhaustion is a good word for it, although sometimes I mentally tax my brain. I feel like I think that's just age, but it satisfies me. If I'm not writing, I have this horrible niggling thing in the back of my head, or going, you gotta write, something's wrong, and so I don't know if it's that feeling of satisfaction that I've accomplished something, because every day, whether you write a paragraph, and sometimes I will spend over an hour on one paragraph. So, but it is progress. So it's very satisfying. It's cathartic. So
I've heard a lot of people call it therapy. So I think
very
something
so.
is flowing out of our brain onto the paper helps us.
Yes, I believe so.
Does your family support your career as a writer?
Yeah, yeah, they do. My husband, it would really frustrate me in the past. Has really frustrated me because he'll go, what about your book? You know, and it's so frustrating because I had all these other things going on at the time, and it was just, I couldn't spread myself any further at the time. But you know, he really supports it. My kids do too. My oldest daughter writes probably better than I do. And so my middle daughter, she's written fan fiction, so she's out there. So I think it's inspired them, and let them see that it's achievable, it's attainable. So
I think that's so important for us to leave this legacy for our children, to show them even later in life what you can achieve. You can reinvent yourself, you can have other careers, and that's exciting to me.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's really exciting when readers gobble up your books and then want to know what's next, except that keeps us really pressed to get something back out there. And the readers don't understand how long it takes to write a book when they devour one in 2 days.
Right. I mean, really. I don't understand how people can self-publish those books that they just over and over, like one a month, you know. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that. So I'm just not there, man.
I don't either, but I think those romance readers are the ones who want to see those turned out so quickly.
Definitely. Yes, gotta know what happens, man.
Yeah.
You know, to my shock, my uncle, who's 85, read my book, and he's like, well, what happens? You know, you can't just leave them hanging like that, you know. I'm like, I'm working on it.
My sister said the same thing about mine. She said, "Do not leave us hanging." I said, "Well, it had an ending, but they want to know more, you know."
Yes, yeah, they do, and that's good. That means
you did your job.
Yeah, the characters have come alive for them, and that's important to me, because they're alive in my, you know, I don't care. I know they're metaphors. I mean, I get it. But but still, they kind of become a part of you, like, I don't know, kind of a weird kind of family.
It really is true. They do live in our heads. Well, Susy, as always, our last interview question is: our writers over 50 are a unique set. Do you have any advice for writers 50 and above?
Well, I just write. I mean, it's attainable. You can do it. You can, especially now when self-publishing is just right there. I mean, you just do it. And I know it takes some effort to write a novel, write the whole thing, but after you get it done, you'll feel so good. You'll just, you know, you'll have a great sense of accomplishment. That in and of itself is a great accomplishment, just finishing a novel. Those 70,000 words on paper, 80,000 words, 90,000 words, that you have ripped out of you and put on paper, and maybe bled some a little. So yeah, just keep going.
I think that's great advice, and we are so excited to have you here today. Thank you for your time, and we are glad to say that you're now one of our authors over 50.
Yay!
Thank you for joining us today. Please look for Authors Over 50 every Thursday, when we will have conversations with accomplished debut novelists over the age of 50. Please subscribe and share with a friend. And check out my own publication journey after 50 at www.juliadaily, that's DAILY, like dailynewspaper.com. Until next time, keep reading and writing. And remember, it's never too late to fulfill a dream in life's sweetest third.